All right, guys. So yeah, like I was saying, what I'm wanting to do here is just kind of do an in-depth recording or training here on just like the CRM platform, what all the capabilities it can do, kind of where to find things. We can kind of obviously this be Q&A. We can kind of talk about how to do some if we need to. Jim, we have already created an account for Jim, so he's on the call here. He can kind of give some of his feedback on how he's been using it, how he likes it. So yeah, so let's kind of jump in. You guys have any questions right off the bat? No? Cool. All right, so what I did is I just created a new account for Anthony to begin with. So when you obviously come to the account, you'll first just land on this page. This is kind of a checklist that you can do to kind of see, kind of start to connect everything. Just to kind of preface this also, I have kind of a, let me see if I can share it with you too. This Word doc, kind of a step-by-step instructions on different things that we need to set up initially to kind of get the whole account working. And I'll share this with anyone, obviously, all of you guys that get an account. So you have this. I'll be available if you have questions to kind of help make sure you understand how to set it up too. So anyways, so this is kind of the initial page where you can kind of have like the instructions on how to set things up here. But typically, first thing you'll kind of do, I'm just going to start going through kind of the layout of the CRM so you know where everything is. Here on the left side, we have this menu. You have Launchpad, dashboard, conversations, calendar, contacts, opportunities. So it's going to start going through this. The dashboard, this is kind of just your typical dashboard. It has numbers, kind of like what you see in Power. You can kind of see how many leads you got in there, how many opportunities, how many phone calls that have come through, how many text messages. So it's just kind of a dashboard to show a lot of numbers. So once you start getting leads and data through here, you'll start to see a lot of this start to populate. Right here, this next part where it says conversations. This is the page where you can actually communicate with any communication can happen with your leads, whether this is text messages or emails or calls. So all the calls is you let me preface with this. So every communication that you have with a lead, you want to go through the platform. The text message, the email, the calls, all go through the platform, because what that's going to do is going to keep things consistent. It's going to make it so your leads, your homeowners aren't confused with going with your number versus your number that you purchase, right? So it's all through the platform. So just keep that, make that a mental note. All communication, try to do it all through the platform. So there you'll have the platform online that you can use, and there's also an app that you can download. It's called Lead Connector. And that's in that Word doc on how to download that. But it's just an app that you can download. You can kind of keep track of all your leads, your opportunities through there, but also do any of your communication through that. You can send text messages through that, emails, and call the lead directly through that. And then it all tracks it through that same number that you purchase. I'm going to show you kind of what that kind of looks like through Jim's account real quick. Just this one communication here. This is just showing you kind of what it looks like. Here's all the communication and emails on the left side here. Here's actually where you can communicate with them. You see your response, their response. So this one here is obviously they responded to an email, and you can then respond back through an email or a text message. All can be done right here through this communications page. On the right hand side, you just have the basic contact information for that lead. From here, you can create a new opportunity, or you can actually book an appointment with that lead on the calendar. So that's kind of the communications page. Any questions on kind of how that works or anything like that? All right. So the next item here is the calendars. So this is the calendars where you obviously you can integrate your your Google Calendar or your Outlook calendar directly to this. So the calendar's functionality through the CRM actually can replace if you're using Calendly. So you no longer need to have a Calendly account. If you don't want to, you can still use it if you want. But all the functionality that they have, we can actually use right here through the platform. So if you're paying for that, that's something that you can stop paying. We'll kind of go through how to connect your calendar if you want, but this is kind of where that is here in the calendar. And there's a drop down here that you can select which calendar that you want to look at. So we have 3 calendars already built. So you have the commercial calendar, recruiting calendar, and solar lead calendar. The reason I separated it into 3 different calendars is typically it just allows you to have different, whether you want a different color for the different types of appointments. If you want to have a certain different naming convention for each of the different ones, so you have like the name, recruiting lead, right, or their name, solar lead. So it just kind of helps kind of separate them, but you can also all integrate all of them into one Google calendar, so they all show up like in your Google Calendar. So it just allows you kind of separate them a little bit. But this is where you can, if you need to go to the different ones here, this is where you'd find it. On this same page, you can actually just highlight and book a appointment right there. So if you want to highlight that, you will be able to highlight there or book an appointment by clicking that button right there. And then you just search for the contact, and then you'd be able to book an appointment there. So that's kind of the calendars. The next one is contacts. This is just where all your contacts will reside. So if you have any once you start importing contacts or getting contacts, this is where they will all be. You have a bunch of different functionalities here at the top. For the contacts, you can obviously add a new contact. You just go through the form, pretty straightforward. You have other functionalities, or you can add that contact to a specific workflow or campaign, send a text message to those contacts that you select in the drop down here. If you select a number of them, you can add a tag, delete them, send review, request, export, import. But one thing I want to kind of point out here on this page is the ability to kind of segment or separate the leads into certain like categories. So for example, if you have the commercial leads, you have recruiting leads, you have power leads, you have your own, you want to separate your own personal leads into another category. All you have to do is right here in the right hand side where it says more filters, click the blue part, and you can filter these leads however you want. Typically the most common is you'll have a tag, right? So when however you want to set it up, when you have a solar lead that comes in, that solar lead will have a specific tag attached to it. And this is based off of how it comes in through the automations. And we'll kind of get to that here in a second, kind of show you how that works. But just want to show you how the filtering works. So typically it's a tag, how you could filter it. You could filter it by address. You could filter them by cities. You could filter by states, if you want to kind of segment them that way. Let's go by tag, for example. So if I want to create a list, I'll put the tag is, and then I can select one of these tags that are already created. If you have a tag that you want to create that's not here that you want to create, you'll have to go into the settings, into the tag section, and create the tag first. But say, for example, I want to create a list on just solar leads. So now I have this list that all have the tag solar lead. Hit apply. I'm going to save it as smart list. And I'm going to name it solar leads. So now it shows up right here on this top bar where it says all and then solar leads. Basically, it's just saving a list based off of a filter that you've created. And you can do as many as you want here. And that's all that is. And then the kind of what that allows you to do is in like in your marketing. So if you want to create an email campaign or specific automation that happens based off of a certain list, you can then do that. So it allows you to kind of segment them out, where you can then do marketing based off of that list. Any questions on the email side or the contacts section? No? All right. Opportunities. So opportunities is going to be probably the main place. So opportunities and probably conversations are the main place you're probably going to spend most of your time within the platform. Opportunities is basically your pipeline. It's where all your leads are going to be created, as it's called, an opportunity. And then you'll use this pipeline, these stages, to move your leads around. So let me show you kind of what that looks like through this account. So here we have Jim's account here, and we have different leads that are in different stages of the pipeline. So what makes this powerful is we have automations that are built based off of which stage that they are in your pipeline. So this is where the true value comes in on a platform like this. So let me kind of help explain what that means. Is so when you have a new lead that comes in, the new leads can go directly to the new lead stage. We have automations, and I'll show you what those look like, but they'll have automations that are built that have, whether it sends automated text messages and emails to the lead when they're in this stage. So when they're in the new lead stage, for example, it's going to push them to schedule an appointment with you, right? If they're a new lead, you haven't talked to them yet, you haven't done your discovery phase with them quite yet. So basically what we're trying to do is push them to schedule that discovery call. Once you've talked to them, what you're going to want to do is then move that lead over to whatever stage they're in the pipeline. So I'm going to just create one, just so we have one here. I can show you what that looks like. Okay. So one thing I forgot kind of to mention here at the very top, we have 3 different pipelines created for you as well. So we have the commercial solar pipeline, a power recruiting leads pipeline, and a solar leads pipeline. So obviously each of these have different processes that you probably go through with these leads. So that's why we wanted to create 3 different pipelines. So in the solar leads, that's where I added that new opportunity. See right here, it's in the new lead stage. To move it, all you have to do is click it, drag, and drop it to whatever stage that they are in. So for example, if I talk to this lead, they're supposed to send me a utility bill tonight, tomorrow, whatever. They're just waiting on a utility bill. Oh, then just drag them and put them here in this contacted waiting on bill. So what that does is in the automations, it's now going to start the automations to push this lead to start receiving text messages and emails and reminders to send you a copy of the utility bill, right? So you don't want to have to constantly always trying to remember to follow up this person. A lot of times you'll forget, you start getting a ton of leads. It's hard to remember, okay, I need to follow up this person to get a utility bill. So what this is going to do is it's going to push them to send that copy of the utility bill just from the reminders. Hey, this is Bo, just wanting to send you a reminder that we still need to copy that utility bill. Let me know if you need any help, right? It's just simple reminders. That's kind of how it works. So there are automations built on the new leads, contact the video on bill to push the utility bill, appointment scheduled. So kind of like what you do in Calendly, if its appointment is scheduled on the calendar, it's going to send them reminders about the appointment. It's going to have the link directly to your Zoom link on there. And it's going to follow up with them until you have that scheduled, or till the appointment. Needs rescheduling. So if someone scheduled an appointment and they missed your appointment, there was a no-show, if you add them there, it's going to then send them reminders and emails to reschedule on your calendar. Say you've talked to them on the appointment and you're able to go over the proposal, but they decided, they don't want to move forward quite yet. You move them there to contract and review. It's then just going to send them reminders or just notifications about, asking them what they thought about the proposal, if there's anything questions that they still have, that kind of thing. And then we have contract signed, installed. And then what happens is that in each of these stages, if they continue through, it's usually about a week to 2 weeks that we'll send them messages and follow-ups. If they don't move anywhere, they're not responding, what's going to happen is at the end of that automation, it's going to automatically send or move this lead or this opportunity over to the leads on hold back burner. Because then what that's going to do is it's going to start an automation that's going to start just dripping on this lead over the next 6 months, where it's going to send, basic, solar information, why it's important, why we like it. You can include videos if you want. You can obviously customize these however you want, but it's over the 6 months it's going to drip on them to hopefully trigger their interest again, and you can move them back to hopefully close them. We had, just to give you an example, we were doing this last year with had a kind of a drip campaign going with Terry. We had them in the back burner. There was just no traction, nothing happened for the first 4 or 5 months, and then all out of the blue, 6 months later, one of the automations triggered, just following up with you, see if you're still interested in solar, and they're like, hey, yeah, I'm ready for solar again, and it triggered that, the interest, and we were able to actually close them. So that's the power. Just like Wayne was actually just talking about at the beginning of the call, some of you guys weren't on there, the power of following up with your friend, right? So he, over what was it, course of the year?
Yeah. Who creates that content in terms of the drip content?
So it's already created. It's all
Okay.
already there and already created. So I had myself and I've had a professional content writer create it for me. But you are more than welcome to go in and edit it and customize it to your voice, right? You want to obviously make it sound like you, make it look like it's you coming from you. So I would recommend you kind of going through and just kind of altering it a little bit, but the core content is all there.
Is it pretty difficult to edit?
Nope. I can go through. I can show you where to do that. It's pretty easy.
Okay.
Awesome. So that's kind of the pipeline, the opportunities place. Obviously, we have then on hold. So for example, I just want to give you a scenario. So say you had someone you talked to and they're like, hey, I'm interested, but I want you to follow up with me in a couple of months, right? Don't be reaching out to me for whatever reason. I'm on vacation or whatever. So you don't want them to keep getting notifications and getting annoyed, right? So we have this stage here that says on hold, no follow-up. So we can just move them right here to on hold, no follow-up. So there's not going to be any automations. There's not going to be any text messages, follow-ups, anything until they obviously go somewhere else. So that would be a list. You would want to kind of manually check on every so often, go through that, see if there's any that need to be manually followed up with for whatever reason. Then we have bad credit. Obviously, if you have some that are bad credit, you want to move them there so that to follow up with them in a couple months. That we could obviously, we don't have anything created for automations on that, but that's something that we could create something for bad credit stage. Not interested, doesn't qualify. Self-explanatory. Nothing will be sent out on there. They're just not interested, and then canceled. So that's kind of the pipeline. Any questions on any of that?
Hey, Wayne, to help answer that question is, is what I did is Dana made a video on his, and so I made a video, you know, kind of similar to Dana's. And so is what I did is I created a template. And so when you go in and change all the automations, if you have a template and you set up your template, it changes everything, all your automations, instead of having to go back and individually check each one. So it's really easy to set up and do.
Okay, cool.
Awesome. Thanks for that, Jim.
Thank you.
All right.
Also, I
Oh,
don't
go ahead.
know if I don't know if Bo covered it, but in it was conversations or contacts, in contacts, and I've been kind of bad about it, and I'm getting back into it in the contacts. If you click on the contact, go into mine, Bo, would you?
Sure.
If you go into contacts, click on one of the contacts. I don't care which one. Just click Jonathan right there. There's a note section. I think it's, where's the notes? Yeah, notes. See, you could type notes in there, and I highly recommend you do that, because you know, you get so many leads and you forget, and so you just want to write yourself a little note saying, hey, you know, you need to do this and follow up and do stuff like that, and that's important too.
So you put that both in notes and conversations, Jim?
No, just in notes.
So this is so conversations is just a list of all the conversations that's happened
Yeah.
with the contacts. So this
Okay.
is just where you can communicate with them.
Yeah.
In the contacts tab, this is where if you click into a contact, this is where you can kind of edit, obviously, the contact information. You can communicate with this one directly here too, right here in the
I
middle.
see.
But then also on the right, kind of what Jim's talking about, is this is where you're going to want to kind of keep track of any notes that you have. So there's this on the top right, there's this notes tab.
Gotcha.
Hit this add new, and you can create any notes. So obviously you're having a conversation with them, you're having a call with them, you just ended your presentation. You can put all the notes here, so you want to keep track of that, and it'll keep a history of all the notes that you've done. And then kind of what Jim also mentioned is say you have a task, so that you need to follow up with this person, or you need to do this for this person. Right here in tasks, you can add a new task to do, and you can put, you know, assign it to yourself, and then you can put a due date, right? And so then with those tasks, you'll have, I believe it's on the dashboard, they'll show up all the tasks that you need to do.
That's so cool.
So so if you have a number of tasks, you just come right here and say, oh, here's all the tasks I need to get done today or coming up.
Gotcha.
Right.
Like Jonathan there, I need to, Bo and I are working on, he already has a system, and Bo may have a guy that, you know, because we can't do through Power, we can't add on to a system. So Bo's guy's on vacation this week, so I need to put a task in there to follow up next week for him.
Gotcha.
So
I think Power's moving towards it though. In yesterday's meeting, did you hear that?
Yeah, so some of that stuff they'll probably have some functionality in Power's portal, sounds like, too, which would be good. I'm not sure how much functionality they'll have with everything. I guess we'll find out.
It's probably like a year out or so,
Right.
Sure.
like Q1 or Q2 of next year.
Yeah.
the other thing that Bo mentioned that's great is when you set up a meeting with them, and all the reminders. To me, the reminders are so important, and also reminds you too. I have mine set up to remind me, you know,
Yeah.
because we're busy. It's just the
Sure.
fact that we are busy, and so I have it set up 1 hour before. I need it sends me a text message, you know, an email the day before, so I know to go check my calendar and stuff like that. So, and that's very important. Because if you miss an appointment, you can guarantee you're not gonna sell it. You know,
Right.
so
Yeah.
it works both ways. It not only reminds the customer, it also reminds you. So you set it up that way.
Yes, sir.
No,
Thank you.
perfect for that. Thanks, Jim. So what I want to actually just kind of mention too, on top of that, kind of what he said, he's customizing it right to him. So these are your guys' accounts, right? So this is, you're paying for it. This is you can customize this however you want to do this. I'm just kind of here, I kind of created the foundation, right? And kind of help guide you and kind of help you set this up. And then if you have questions, you want to, oh, how do I set this automation up? I can come in and I can help you later too, if you want. Awesome. No, thanks for bringing.
I
Go ahead,
spent
Jim.
hours
Sure.
on this with Bo, so you know, he's probably sick of me from all the questions I asked him on this.
Yeah.
So,
It's all right. Here to help you guys in any way we can. So thanks for bringing that up, Jim. I did forget about this notes and activities section. All right, so let's proceed. Let's move forward. So here on the left, we have the marketing tab, this menu. So let me go back to this account here. So obviously there's nothing set up quite yet, but this marketing tab is obviously where we have the capability of integrating any of your social media pages. So if you're branding yourself as the expert, you have your own company name or anything like that, which obviously I would recommend. You can integrate that here within the platform. And then you can actually use this as a social media planner. So you could create any posts on here, schedule the posts, and then it'll go out to all the different social media platforms. This is also where you'll find where you do your emails. So if you're going to do an email campaign, so if you're going to send like an email blast or an email, like a newsletter, say we have some new update that you want to send out to all your old leads, this is where you do it. So you create a new campaign, kind of go through that, do the content, select who you're going to send it to, and this is kind of where you'd manage that.
you can do it by tags too, correct, Bo?
Yep. Yep. You can also create like templates. So if you have, like you said, if you have like a monthly newsletter or something you want to send out to your leads, you could create a template on that and then just use that template to send out each month. This is where you'd create the templates right here, add new template. The last part here on this marketing page here is the trigger links. So this kind of can be confusing on what really this does. I'll just kind of read this right here, what this says, because it kind of explains. It says trigger links allow you to put links inside SMS messages. So if you know, like you're texting someone, you can't really put a link there through the platform. But by doing a trigger link, it'll allow you to put a link in the text message, which allows you to track specific customer actions and trigger events based on when the link is clicked. So by doing a trigger link, so all it is you say you have a URL. So you basically just name this, just so you understand what this link is for, and then the URL. What that does is it just allows you to put that in and out SMS messages, but also allows you to do certain automations or triggers based off of someone like clicking it, right? So there's a lot of functionality that allows you to do that. So right now we have a few already created. These are just for like your calendar pages. So that way it allows us to put the calendar links into the SMS or in the automations. But you can obviously create as many or different trigger links as you want.
I believe on mine, didn't I do the video links for my video?
Probably, yeah, we can even look. Yeah, so we have your calendar links. We have all the links to your videos on the like the discovery. So I'll kind of show you kind of what these are for. It'll make a little more sense here in a second. Okay, so any questions on any of that?
It seems like a lot. It seems overwhelming if you've never done it. But once you start doing it and get in and start playing with it and, you know, write down questions and ask Bo, it gets pretty simple pretty fast.
Yeah.
And once you start using it, that's when you see how awesome this thing is.
Yep.
So
If you were like, I mean, it's just kind of up to your creativity, you know, how much as you can think of how you can use it. Like there's so much functionality that you can make use of it. So it's really, really cool. All right, so automations. So this is kind of where the brains of everything happens. The automations. This is where everything I talked about in the opportunities happens. So I've already kind of created a ton of automations for you. Obviously, you can create more. Like kind of Jim has explained, he's kind of created a few custom stuff that he wants to happen, and we can definitely do that. So we have 3 different folders here separated for commercial, power recruiting, and then just solar leads automation. And then just a few of these automations that kind of happen for anything. So you have auto missed calls, text back. So if someone calls the number that we have in the system, it'll just send them an automated text message and to kind of follow up. Leads replied to SMS. This is just like a notification to you. And we can kind of go into these in detail later if we need to. But I want to at least kind of show you an overview of kind of how they work here. So I went into solar automations. We have 12 different automations happening. So as you're just kind of looking at this, you're like, wow, that's a lot of different stuff. Looks overwhelming. But kind of like what Jim says, once you kind of just grasp kind of how the concept of automations work, it's really not too hard. And it can make sense as long as you have a naming convention here where you can understand what you're doing. So let's dive into one real quick, just so I can show you kind of how what it looks like. Let's go to the new lead. So when someone say let me take a step back. As soon as you receive a new lead in the system, the first thing that's going to happen is right here is this new solar lead, send notification, tag, and create opportunity. So how an automation works is you basically have a trigger. So when something happens, then do all of these tasks. So for example, if this lead fills out the survey on this quiz that we created, or the form on the landing page, once they've filled that out, that's the trigger, then all these automations start to happen. So the first thing that's going to happen is it's going to send you, so this is send lead text message. Sorry. So this is you. It's going to send a new solar lead. It says no solar lead, and then here's just their contact information. Send lead email. And this is sent to you, so you have the this is just kind of the form stuff here for usernames. This is you, user email, the user type. So this could be, you could select this as sign it to you. You could send it to a custom email. You can send it to a particular user. So if you have multiple users in the system, you can send it to a specific user. And then 2 custom emails, right? So we're sending it to user email. Here's the subject title, and then here's just the content that's in the email. So right now it's just sending the lead information. So this is from that form that they filled out. So here's the email from the lead, their first name, last name, phone number, address, etc. That's all the information is in that form. It's then going to add a tag, right? So right now I've selected as a solar lead tag, and you could obviously create other tags and select more tags. It's then going to assign a user. So once you have an account, we'll create you as a user, and we'll select you as the user because it's your account. And then it's going to create an opportunity. So this is what's going to do, automatically create that opportunity in that pipeline. So it creates the opportunity. It's in this pipeline, right? So you can select which pipeline you want it to put it in. So right now we're in the solar leads pipeline and the new lead stage. And then this is where the name that we put it. So it's the contact name and then the date that it was added. Yeah, so that kind of makes, any questions on all of that? I'm sure you guys are like, it seems like a lot, but like I said, once you kind of dive in and kind of just start to understand just at least the basics of how it works, it really starts to come together pretty easy. But that's kind of why, I mean, it's good for you to kind of understand it, even though I kind of built everything for you. So if you want to do like what Jim's doing, is customize some things or add some things later, it's good for you to kind of at least have a basic understanding of how it works.
One thing I told Bo I want to do is on my signings, I want to, when they sign the contract, I want to create a video for them, thanking them and telling them some of the things are going to happen. And so that's something I'm going to work on later on once I get a little more time. So we can add that and do that. So through this system, it's actually pretty simple.
Yep.
Can that be an automated type of thing, Jim, or?
Yeah, that'll be automated. So it's, So as soon as you click, as soon as you move that over to contract sign, you can delay it too. You could say delay for 2 hours, delay for 1 minute. You could delay it is whenever you want. So when you move it to that contract sign, it'll send an email. It'll send, I'm going to have it set up an SMS, and I'm going to have SMS as the texting and an email. And then I'm going to create a video, just going over and thanking them and tell them the steps they're going to take and what to look forward to, talk about the site survey a little. And then also, and then when when it goes to installed, I'm going to do another video. When it gets installed, I'm going to do another video asking them for their references. I mean, not references, but for referrals. If they want to do referrals, hey, you got your system installed. Hey, let's make some of that money back now. Get me 3, and that's $3,000. So I'm going to go in and set all that up. So just everything just flows. So as I go from point to point to point, just do it one time, it's done.
Yep. Well, while you're talking about that, Jimmy kind of jumped ahead of me, but that's all right. While you're talking about that, so we actually have some pages. So the 40 funnels pre-built for you, but one of those funnels right here, it says Power Closed Deal Review landing page. So that's already some landing pages that are already pre-built that you can go in and do exactly what Jim's talking about. Is we create an automation based off going to that stage. And then on those automations, whether it's, through the SMS, the email, you send them, hey, thanks for, for joining Power or getting your system installed. Go here to this landing page of a video that I have for you to kind of help you know what the next steps are going forward, right? So like, for example, the contract gets signed. Let me open this one. Says, congratulations on going solar. What happens next, right? Watch the video below to find out what to expect moving forward on your new solar project. So this video right here, obviously this isn't the video you'd want to use, but this is a video you could replace with a personal video of you, right? So, hey, thanks for going solar. Here's what you should expect next. You're going to get your survey done. You're going to get, designs done, et cetera. Then underneath it, obviously you'd want to talk about the ambassador program. So just below, we have ambassador program. Here's how it works, right? And then right here has a link that you can go right directly to your ambassador link, join. Then the other page talked about for installation is very similar, but it's just kind of focused more on their installation. You can obviously customize this differently if you want to. Right here I just have, so watch the video below to find out what to expect moving forward and how to get a $20 gift card, right? Give someone a $20 gift card for giving you a video review. So right here is a video. You could explain how to, what to expect going forward, and then how to give you that video review. And then it's kind of step-by-step instructions on how they can send you a video review. And then also pushing them to, again, join your ambassador program. So these are like I said, already pre-built for you. Obviously, there's some things that we have to do to kind of get everything set up once you have your account. But those are there for you. Let me jump back again real quick. I just wanted to show you, dive into, so we kind of talked about the automation on when you initially get a lead, kind of what happens next, right? So the trigger is they filled out a form. You can obviously create triggers off of pretty much anything, but on this example, we're doing it, triggering it off of they filled out this form, and then we're going to do all those automations. We're going to give a tag, or create an opportunity, and we're going to move them to that pipeline stage, right? So the other automation is what we want to do is have automations based off of which stage they're in. So that will first one, when they go to the new lead stage, we have the trigger at the top where it says pipeline stage changed, right? So this lead has been created and it's been moved to this new lead stage. So that's the trigger. So this automation is going to happen as soon as that opportunity is moved to that stage. And here's the automation that happens. It's going to wait 1 day. And then it's going to do a condition. It's going to it's like a yes or no condition saying, is this lead still in this stage? If it is, don't do anything. But if it's not, continue. Sorry, let me rephrase that. So is it still in this stage? It's going to continue on with the automations. If it's not going to continue, right? Because we don't want to continue to send them text messages or emails if they're no longer in that stage. So that's the purpose of this condition. So if they're still in that stage, we're going to send them this text message. And you can obviously go through these later and kind of rephrase them or make them your voice. So I won't spend too much time going into the details of what these say, but we have a text message, an email. It's going to then, one thing I actually did want to show you, this show you in Jim's account real quick. This is what we did with Dana and Jim so far. So right here you can see this email that gets sent out to a new lead. It says this is username. So it's, hey, this is Jim, your independent solar consultant. With Power, you can get to know me better by watching this quick video below. So it has this little thumbnail image that you could click. We'll see if by clicking that does anything. I think I have to look at the link. Anyways, so
Go in, hey, Bo, go into the template and check, do it in the template.
that's probably why it's in the
Yeah,
template.
because
Okay.
it's set up for a template.
That's why.
Yeah.
Okay, it's refreshing.
Marketing.
This first one, like I said, doesn't matter, right?
I don't have them in all of them. I know it's the first one.
Okay.
You did estimate. Oh, there it is. Okay.
So I just wanted to show you guys kind of what we did here. So he's created this video. We don't have to watch the whole thing, Jim. I don't want to embarrass you. But basically, he just has an intro to video explaining, who he is, kind of a little background about him, and trying to push them to obviously get a book appointment, right? So it's kind of a cool way to kind of, for these people in these leads, get to know you if you haven't met with them previously. All right. Any other questions on that? So it's kind of just moving forward. Like I said, with the automations, we're kind of just doing the same thing. It's sending another text, an email, waiting 7 days, checking the conditions, see if they're still there, email, text, and it just kind of goes to the automation. What happens if they don't go anywhere? We have the automation that sends them over to the back burner stage. So that's kind of a rough overview of how those are working. So we have a lot of other automations in here. You can kind of go and explore these if you want. But it's kind of everything to help keep that working. Any questions on any of that?
Can I ask a question?
Sure.
Sorry, I missed this half an hour, so probably if you repeat yourself, I apologize. So does this mean that it's going to be some landing page for leads to get this page somewhere and fill out information for the form? So it's going to be like a lead generation as well?
It can be. So obviously, the platform here, and this is kind of actually where I was going next. So kind of leads up right here to the next stage, is the sites. So we have pre-built landing pages already for you that you can use. We have the free solar quote. So this is like a landing page that's non-branded. So if you just want to have your own brand that you want to promote, you can do that there. We have Power free solar quote. Actually, let's go into it so you can see it. But it's a landing page already built out that you can use to market, right? To create leads. Keep in mind, obviously, you still have to market it. You would still have to, whatever marketing you're doing, whether it's through social media, Google Ads, or whatever. Or if you have a media, an agency that you want to use, and you want them to use your landing page, you'd still have to do that. But at least you have these pre-built landing pages that you can use. So let me just open one so you can kind of see what that looks like. So this is one that is branded for power. Obviously, you'd want to go through these and update the numbers and any other personal information throughout the funnels to you and the number that you have in the system. So right here, you can see an example of someone hit start survey. Right now, I have a picture of Dana. Hey, my name is Dana. I'm here to see if your home qualifies for 0 upfront solar, right? And then you walks them right through this form. So this, to answer your question, yes and no. So obviously, yes, we have these landing pages pre-built for you to use, but you still have to obviously market them in whatever way you want.
Like a Google advertisement or something like that, right?
Exactly. Yep.
Okay.
Like Google Ads, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and you just create an ad and you'd send them directly to this landing page. So kind of how that funnel right here, this is kind of, it's called a funnel because you're kind of taking them kind of through a few steps. So that first step obviously is that quiz. They're kind of looking at that landing page. Once they fill out that form, it's going to take them next to this booking page. So we look at the booking page. Obviously, they fill out the form. It's going to take them right here where you're obviously pushing them to book an appointment with you. You want to talk to them, do a discovery phase with them. So this video right here is Dana just introducing himself, explaining kind of a little bit of basic information about solar, and just kind of pushing them to use this calendar underneath to book their appointment. So this calendar, as I talked about before, should be linked to your, whether you use Google Calendar or Outlook, it should be linked to those calendars so that they are actually looking at your actual availability, right? So if it's linked to that calendar, if you're actually using the calendar the way it should be and all your appointments are on that calendar, those dates and those times will be blocked off so they can't double book. So that's kind of the power of using that. The last stage here is obviously the thank you page. It's just saying, hey, thanks for booking your appointment. We'll be in contact shortly. There is something I didn't show you here at the bottom. It's called a chat widget. Right here, let's see if it's turned on. I think we have to enable it first once you create your account. But there's like a little chat widget, chat feature for the landing pages too, that if someone just has questions, they can fill that out and it'll actually populate here in the conversations page and you can communicate with them there. A few other things here on the sites page. So we have the funnels. So we have, like I said, the non-branded one. We have a recruiting page. So this is the same recruiting page that I've used since, for the past couple of years. That works really well. I know Daniel has also been using the same thing. He's been recruiting a lot, so it works. So it's the same landing page there. Then we have this initial call appointment internal survey. So this, just so you understand what this is, you don't really need to use this funnel. It's basically used for some automations that I've created for you. Basically, it'll send you a text message after you've had a appointment, for example, like 10 minutes after or I think it's an hour after your appointment. And to send you a text message with a few links. Basically what it's doing is on those links, you just click, oh, it's a no-show, or they show that it was, but they didn't purchase. They showed and actually closed the deal. So basically they're just links, and basically what it's doing, it's going to create different automations based off that links. just to help you understand what this is for. And then we already went over the closed deal review landing page. So that's funnels. We also have already a template website that you can use if you want to. So the landing pages are built specifically kind of for lead gen, right? You kind of just like you have one action you want someone to do. Here's solar. I want you to fill out this form and then take them through a few steps. Then you have a website that you can use if you want. This is here free for you to use. Right now, this is titled Typhoon, but it's an actual fully built website. Where it has multiple pages. Homepage, about page, services page, projects page, your team, contact. So it's kind of like a full, if you will, a full commercial, or not a commercial, a solar company if you want to have your own website. And it's kind of, you would have to go in, obviously customize it to your branding if you wanted it, right? So you change the logos, you change some of the images, change the content, that kind of thing. But it's a pre-built website that you can use. They're pretty easy to edit. If you just right here, this is this edit button, hit edit page. It's a web builder. You will be able to go in and just kind of edit some of the content and stuff like that in there. Let me go back. All right, so then we have memberships. You don't have to worry about memberships because no one's going to be doing memberships. The only other thing here that you'll probably want to be aware of is the forms and surveys. So the forms is the forms that you put on any of the landing pages or your websites. So these are the forms that you can create. So we have the recruiting form and a website contact form pre-built right now. But this is where you obviously use that form within, like I said, those landing pages, or you can actually use these forms if you have another website somewhere else that you want to put it on. Let me show you real quick. It's just a form builder. You drag and drop what form information you want to capture. So you have full name, phone number, email, etc. If you want to integrate it within somewhere else, you set this integrate form and it'll give you the code right here that you can put that anywhere. So if you put that anywhere else and someone fills out the form, it'll actually integrate it right here into the platform and it'll capture it here. So that's the value of that. Surveys are what you saw on that landing page. It's kind of a question, page by page question. So if you're asking specific questions, if you want to take someone through a survey, that's what we're using on the solar landing page. Chat widget, that's the chat widget I was talking to you about, the small in the corner of the website or the landing pages. You can customize it here if you want, change the image, change the intro message, that kind of thing. Media, so this media page is where you could upload your personal image, like your own solar images, your own images that you want to use throughout the landing pages. That's where that's for. All right, I think that's all for that. Any questions on the sites page? Okay.
Hey, Bo, I'm sorry.
Yeah. No,
In
go for it.
terms of the bubble chat or the chat bubble,
Mhm.
will we just get a notification on our phone that tells us, hey, someone's trying to ask a question, or?
Yeah, so we have it set up here on the automations. Where it says new chat message right here. Here's an
Yeah,
automation that happens when you have a new chat. So what's going to happen
see.
says customer replied, right? So the channel is the chat widget. So it's going to assign you as the user, right?
Mhm.
And then it's going to push a notification to you. So you have a new chat message. Here's the body message and the contact name. It's going to then also send, so this is a notification in the system, like if you're on your computer,
Mhm.
and it's also going to send a message, an SMS message, and also an email.
So
you're
that's pretty
getting it.
much just real time, yeah? But-
Yep, yep.
Cool.
Any other questions? Great question.
Is this going to be the same thing that's going to be coming in the Power platform?
See, I didn't hear that part specifically, but I know they are doing like the CRM. I don't know how much functionality that's going to have. And like I think Anthony said, that's at least a year out. So I don't know what functionality that's going to specifically have. I'm sure it's going to have some, but I don't know how much. Matt, you have a question?
Yeah, so all I got to do is pay 75 bucks a month, and then I'm going to be flooded with good quality leads, and I'll be able to close 10 deals a month, right?
You're saying flooded with good quality leads. Well, where are you going to get those good quality leads?
I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. I was just sitting here realizing how difficult it is for me to concentrate and absorb technical stuff, which is why I didn't, it's why I brought what I found to you. I don't, and I'm really trying to make sense of it all. I'm going to have to go back and watch this later, but
That's why it's recorded. And I know
yeah.
it's technical, and I'm sure you guys are like, I don't want to have to deal with a lot of this stuff, but I highly, highly, highly recommend you at least get familiar with how it works. You don't have to get too far in depth of like learning all the automations and how that works. Obviously, I can hear to help you figure out some of that stuff if you have questions, kind of like what Jim said. But you really should at least get really familiar with the platform and using it, because there's so much functionality that we can use with it, and it's going to make overall, once you do kind of get over that hump of learning it, it's going to make your life way easier, right? That's the whole goal, is we're trying to automate a lot of what you're already trying to do manually.
Yeah, no, and I totally appreciate what you've done here, because I tried to tackle it with the other one and I was just completely overwhelmed, and
Right. And that's kind
thanks.
of why I'm
We'll
trying
make
to
it
at
work.
least give you a foundation to start from, right? I'm trying to at least give you here's all the automations pre-built for you, so you don't have to go in and try to do it yourself.
Well, yeah, and I think that's really the power of it, because
Right.
the most frustrating thing to me is knowing all the people who slip through the cracks, because I don't have this. So
Yep.
having it is at least going to make sure that we put ourselves in front of everybody in the most effective way. Thank you.
Yep. And to make yourself more valuable in the future and just be a more professional all around, in the industry, once you get to learn to how to use these type of tools, the better. Like, I know especially with some people, like technology, like I don't want to deal with it. I hate doing it. But if you just kind of sit down and just kind of like what Jim said, is just get to learn it, get to know it, it's going to exceed or help all your future deals in the future, because you know how this is working and how to customize it and use it. Like Jim was talking about, I want to do this when I have a signed deal. I want to do this, I want to do that, because then it's going to make everything work smoother and less work in the future.
The other thing that's going to happen is, I guarantee you, our competition is not doing this.
Right.
So especially if we start doing the videos and all that and all the follow through, hey, these guys mean business, man. I want to go somebody who's professional and who's following up and going to be there when I need it.
Yep.
Oh, you mentioned that someone using already this landing page to get some leads in the market there, media, social media or something like that.
Say that question one more time. So you said there's someone that's using the landing page for marketing?
Yeah, did you mention that someone already using it to get the leads through one of the landing pages that you created?
Yeah, well, we're using the recruiting landing page a lot. I've used almost very similar landing pages myself for my own marketing right here. Hopefully that's kind of allowing you to use some of my skills that I've used in the past for these landing pages. I don't specifically use the Power recruiting landing page myself, because I'm not specifically recruiting through Power with my clients, the way that I do it, but the structure and the way it's set up is very, very similar. So if you're going to use it, it should work. right?
So,
But, oh, sorry, go ahead.
yeah, so my following question would be, can we set up also like a meeting, so in a training for this kind of stuff too, so we can also expand to that kind of lead generation as well. I know it's maybe not a part of the cost over here, but maybe you can charge someone to do this kind of training.
Like how to set all that stuff up.
Yeah, to get the leads too.
Yeah, that's something potentially we could do here in the future.
Okay, good, thank you.
Awesome. Well, I'm going to briefly just show you what these last two things are. Reputation is where you can obviously connect this with reviews. So you can obviously integrate this with your like Google My Business, or I think it's Yelp. I can't remember which ones they have it connected here, but you can obviously connect it with places where you can get reviews. So this reputations page is where you can request reviews. You can see your reviews, you can see your listings with those platforms that you got integrated. Reporting, this is kind of a overall reporting pages. You can see like call reports, all the different calls that you've missed, you've had. It'll just kind of show up here.
Sorry, can I interrupt? So you
Sure.
can put your phone in there to make sure that it's a reporting that you missed it, or it's integrated in phone in there?
Good question. So that was so phone numbers right here. So I went, so you know where I went. Whoops, sorry. Go back. Let me go back. Right here, the settings at the bottom. So that's one of the first steps you're gonna want to do is actually get a phone number. I go to settings, phone numbers, and so we're actually going to get a new phone number.
Is that additional charge?
No, that's part of the platform. This says a $1 fee, but obviously that's coming to me.
So we can have more than our personal cell phone here.
So you're not even going to use your personal cell phone number within the platform. You're going to use the number that we purchase. So what I did is I added a number. I just picked a number in this 201 zip code or area code. I'm gonna hit this pencil here to edit it. I'm just gonna name it. It's gonna test for now. But what we do is we then forward the calls to your personal number. So
Okay.
every call that goes to this number is gonna forward it over to you. This checkbox here is telling us we can pass the leads number through, or if I have it checked, it's going to pass this number through, the 201 number. The reason why you might want to do the pass the 201 number is so that you know you need to answer it, right? It's, hey, this is a new lead. I need to make sure I answer this. But you can turn it off if you only want to see the leads number that gets passed through. Right here, this checkbox where it says call recording, we'll check that because we want it to record. I'll hit update. So now this number, this 201 number is what the number we'll want to use throughout the landing pages, for example, that number that we saw on the top. We're going to use this 201 number. I'm going to put that number in there. So now this number, every time it's called, it's going to forward it directly to you. But that way in the system, it's now able to be recorded and tracked every time. And then this number is the number that's going to be used. Say, for example, the lead that's in the system, go to contacts, come to me. I can then call this lead, and it's going to use that number, and I can call it within the system. So here with this little phone, it'll then call me.
So is this only would work if you get lead generation through this, right?
Say again?
This extra phone number would only work if we have lead generation going right?
I mean, the whole point, obviously, within the system or using the platform is if you're using it to track your leads, right? So you're going to need a number regardless, because then if you have only any personal leads that you generate, whether it's through door knocking, your own lead gen, you're going to obviously enter them into the system or have them integrated into the system, and you're going to use that number to call each or have conversations with these leads. Does that make sense?
Yes, thank you.
Any other questions? Well, if there's no other questions, I think that's kind of the general kind of in-depth, like I said, in-depth kind of training of the platform. What happens obviously next is, those that we're going to be doing the account with will probably just do a quick one-on-one Zoom, just so we can kind of go through the steps of setting everything up. We'll kind of get your phone number set up. We'll
Yes,
get your
thank you.
Google Calendar set up. So I obviously I don't want to just kind of guys throw you out into the ocean and say, hey, I'll go try to set all this up, because it still can be overwhelming. It can still be complex, but I want to at least give you guys an in-depth understanding of how everything is working, because obviously eventually once we get everything set up, I want you to be able to go in here and understand where everything is, how to edit it, how to create new automations if you want to. So obviously this is going to be recorded. You can refer back to it and kind of go through how that stuff works. And then obviously I'll be available to help you out.
So should we just schedule an appointment with you via Zoom both to set up our accounts, or how do you
Yeah.
want to do that?
Yep, that works perfect.
Okay.
Yep. Awesome. I do see you guys had some chats. There's anything in the questions here? Anthony, is there automation for recruiting? Yes, we already went through that. Did we cover that for you, Anthony? Cool.
Can I ask on this one?
Yeah.
So that automation for recruitment, is it also similar to we have to post it somewhere ourselves?
Correct. So this, everything here within the platform, obviously, I'm not going to be providing leads or everything for you guys. This is just a platform you can use to track everything, but have everything pre-built for you. So obviously with the recruiting, you want to use that. We've used it with Indeed. We've used obviously LinkedIn, Facebook ads, Google ads, kind of the same concept. You're just marketing recruiting, right? Marketing joining Power versus, getting solar for your home.
Okay, so there is a templates, right? But there is nothing else for the recruitment over here as like funnels.
So right here on the site,
process.
the Power
like-
recruiting
Uh-huh.
page. So this is the page that's already pre-built for you that you can use to send recruiting leads to, right? Any potential people who are interested. So this is the page that we've pre-built. So again, like I said, you're going to want to just go in through and just update the numbers on the page. So it's your number that you would get. This video here right now is actually of Jonathan Bernasso doing his 15-minute overview pitch of Power. We've used it and it's great. I don't love that we're using Jonathan Bernasso all the time, but it
I'll
works.
get it,
It
don't worry.
converts. Anthony says he's going to create one for us that we
I'll
can
do
use. If you're confident, you could obviously create one that work even better if it's you kind of going over it, so that they see you and they get familiar with you and then they join your team. Obviously, if Anthony does it here, these landing pages are still linked to you. It obviously could still be recruiting to you, but I just want to say it's more personal if it's your video. But we're
So
gonna
can I ask you a question? I'm sorry
Yeah.
to interrupt you. If phone number, can we choose like let's say California phone number? Because like since I purchased some leads from you from California directly, they see that I'm from Washington, even though I'm South Carolina right now. They are confused, like why am I getting phone call out of state and I'm not happy about it. And I had that a lot. that people just do not want to talk to me because I'm not in California. A little bit, I was myself not happy about it, but I guess I had a question on it. And the second question would be, if I dial from my phone, how that would then to reflect to see that phone number that we're going to put on this page here.
Awesome. Great question. So the first one, answer it. Yes, you can. Right here on the phone numbers page where you get a new phone number, so where it says add number, you just choose which area code you want. So basically you just need to know what the area code is there in California that you want to use. 201, Anthony, what's your area code? 209?
209.
Anthony, like for example, 209 area code, hit search. Here's all the numbers you can get for a 209 number. You just hit select which number you want, hit save, and then you can use that number for all your communication. So that's the number you would put in the funnels, in your automations for them to call you. So how it works for your, when you're contacting them, what you need to do is either one, you either do it through the platform, whether you're like text messaging them through the platform, or you can always call, hit this call button right here, the top right, and it'll use that number that you have in the system, and it'll then route it to your through your phone to them. Or obviously, if you're not at a computer, you're out and about or whatever, you need to make sure you download the app. It's called Lead Connector. That is GoHighLevel's app that you can connect to your account, and then you're going to open that app and go to that contact and call them through the app. And it's going to just route it through your phone, and you're going to talk to them like normal, but it's going to record it and it's going to use that number.
Perfect. Thank you for explaining.
Yep. Trying to think if there's anything else I wanted to go over with you guys. I just think, just that point real quick is just, I think that's super important for you guys to remember to do everything through the platform, whether it's through the app or the platform, all communication, just so that you don't get confused on using your personal number versus the number that's going out through the system. It keeps everything consistent. Like I said, it keeps track of all your messaging and all your recordings. So.
Yep. That's why I think this is so powerful, is because it centralizes everything.
Yep.
Well, one more question. I'm sorry if I missed that in the first half an hour. Do you guys also have a templates and follow-ups with the clients?
Like the automations?
Yeah, like templates where it's already some sort of formatted emails or texts put together where you just asking them some follow-up.
Yep. So yeah, we went through that pretty in depth on the call on all the automations. So they're all kind of they're all pre-built for you. That's where this automations is happening.
Okay, thank you.
And maybe just kind of watch the recording of that section explaining kind of how all the pre-built text messages and the emails are working.
Okay.
And it'll help you understand how that works.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
Cool. Anything else, guys? So like Wayne said, let's jump on another just a one-on-one Zoom call, just so we can kind of narrow in. I just didn't want to spend each one of those calls with you guys before explaining how everything works first. I just wanted to make sure, give you guys a foundation first, and then let's schedule like the one-on-one calls where we can kind of get everything set up. Cool.
Yeah, thank you.
Cool.